happening lately for me is as I'm kind of slowing down in terms of my ability to go balls out as I get older, I start looking for smarter ways to control things. And what I want you guys to take away from today ultimately is the idea that we really don't need to think about too many things as we're passing the guard. Okay, we really don't need to. I'm not telling you not to do the guard passes that you already do. We're gonna plug those in. Essentially, I'm gonna make some broth for you guys, like a soup, and you guys can throw in whatever ingredients you want. Okay, but my aim here in an hour is to essentially kind of show you guys that we don't really need to think about too many things as we're passing. We don't really need to remember too many things. We really only need to focus on getting to one spot. Okay, some of this may look slightly familiar to some stuff that people have already done this week, but it's a little bit different, and I'm going to show you how as we go. And again, my aim is to show you guys that really we don't have to think about too much. Okay, so I want you guys just to spread out for a second here. We're going to grab our partner in a second, and then we'll actually feel the position, and then we'll drill it a little bit in a live way. But just spread out to the drill with some constraints. But for right now, I just want you guys to feel the position. So I just want you to step in between your partner's legs, okay? And do those 3 steps. Squat down. You don't have to put all your weight on top of the leg like the headquarters class yesterday, which was great, but this is gonna be a little different, okay? So we're just gonna squat a little bit. When I pinch, I wanna make sure my knees are over or at the line of my partner's knee. This isn't good enough, okay? I wanna control the knee. So I'm gonna pinch, okay? You guys with me so far? Stay squatting. Now I don't want my arms out here. I'm gonna connect to my partner and close my elbows in tight to my hips, okay? Now the main thing I want you guys to think about is your posture. Don't look down, no matter how handsome your uke is. Okay, don't look at them, look straight ahead. Okay, so we're just gonna move just a little bit. Doesn't have to be any resistance right now. Step in, gather your partner's knee up. You can use your arms to help. And pinch. Elbows closed, head goes up, okay? You guys with me so far? I know this looks stupid. I know you guys are like, I don't know, man. Okay, one more time. Let's try. Okay, just cooperative. Maybe do 2 or 3. Okay, just feel the connection. Your partner can maybe just move a little bit for you just to feel it. Okay, and then I want you to switch. All right, everybody understand? Everybody good? Okay, I don't clap. That shit's stupid. Go. If we start adding resistance, we start talking about why this works, okay? Connection is really important. So I always want to have elbows close to my body. I think Will mentioned this yesterday in his class, and he used a phrase which I really like, which I think my friend Josh Janis also uses, which is elbows home, okay? So we want to think about elbows in tight, all right? Where I get into trouble here, besides being forward, we'll talk about what he's going to do, back, front, whatever. But with my arms open here, it's quite easy for him to access something. Yeah, exactly, right? Or with the gi, maybe even easier for him to pull my arm and separate it, okay? So I want you guys to think about this like you're getting to this spot as fast as you can as we start moving, and you're closing everything tight. Really, think about like your partner's knee is like some kind of explosive, and you gotta just dive on the grenade, just like cover it, okay? Does that make sense? Bad analogy, okay? Is everybody feeling like somewhat comfortable with this, at least as a introductory idea? Yeah? Okay, beautiful. All right. So now what I want you to do is play a little game. We're going to play 2 minutes each, okay? Angles are everything, not only when we're passing guard, but when we're basically doing anything in jiu-jitsu. So what I want you guys to consider is if I just try to come straight in, it's kind of difficult, okay? But as I introduce a little bit of movement, and it doesn't matter how you do it, it could be holding the legs, it could just be simply moving your body, okay? My partner has to track with me, they have to follow me, okay? Conceptually, does that make sense, right? Like, wherever I go, if Giles wants a guard, he has to follow me somewhere, okay? So I want you guys to, as we play this game a little bit, to introduce partner on top, a little bit of side-to-side movement, okay? So my job, okay, my goal as the partner on top here, is just simply to start outside of my partner's feet, beat the line of their feet, and get to one knee or the other, okay? So we're gonna move a little bit, side to side. Boom, as my partner goes to follow me, I want you guys just to find that spot, okay? Again, really, really, really important, okay, that my head is up, okay? So to remind me to keep my head up, every time that I look down and make eye contact with the person on the bottom, they're gonna go, ah! Okay? It can be any form of that. If you guys wanna bark at your partner, I make my kids' class meow at each other, whatever you like, okay? But I just want a reminder that this is bad. So as I step in and get here, if I do the position right, but I'm looking at Giles, okay? I fucked up, excuse my language, okay? See, now I'm turning to you, okay? But I just want you guys to remind your partner that you don't want to be looking down, okay? So we're moving side to side, we're playing. Just move. As my partner follows me, you guys will see how easy it is to find this spot, okay? All right? I don't have to be, and I know yesterday, right, the class was a little more toes for headquarters. If that feels comfortable to you, I'm not telling you not to do it, but for me, it's easier to squat with my weight on my heels, okay? So I can still be on the balls of my feet a little bit, but you don't have to be up on your toes. You're just gonna get pitched forward easier in a second anyway, okay? So bottom player, just move, don't let your partner get past your feet, okay? Top player, beat the feet, get to here, and don't look. When my head goes, my body follows. Keep your head up. Use your peripheral vision, okay? Are in tight, okay? And again, I'm not saying you can't look down a little bit, but I'm just for right now, if you haven't done this before, I'm just kind of having you guys like use the rules, okay? Once you feel comfortable with the rules, you can break the rules a little bit. All right? Okay? All right? But once we get to this spot, now we have to think about what we have and what we don't have. Okay. So if I'm on the bottom, or maybe I'll crowdsource it. If you were on the bottom, what did you do effectively to keep your partner from getting to this spot? What did you use? There's one thing probably that 99.9% of you guys used. Let me help you guys. What did you use?
Pummeling the legs.
Pummeling the legs, moving the legs. Okay, this leg has got to get involved at least somehow. Especially if I get to here. If I get to this position, Giles almost always needs to use that other leg to recover his guard or start to be offensive, okay? There's other ideas, there's other things that he may do. We're gonna cover those here, okay? But for the most part, what we're gonna focus on for the next 40 minutes or so is this idea of the secondary leg. This is the thing that's gonna get in my way. It's gonna give me all the problems, okay? For example, maybe he pummels the leg, go ahead, and now I'm back at or below that line of his feet. That's what he wants for guard, okay? Maybe he uses his legs together to just elevate me slowly, or to lift me forward and pitch me forward. Now he has access to my legs. Or maybe it's even more basic than that. I start to get in here, and he actually just pushes me backwards. And I fall over, okay? Is that making sense to you guys, at least as an idea? Beautiful, okay. That's what I want. That's the crux of this class, okay? So now what we need to do is just figure out some ways to solve that problem. And guess what? I already did that, so now you guys can just practice what I'm going to show you, okay? All right. Damn, dude, I'm not funny anymore. Okay. Maybe. Or I'm just not funny. All right, first class. I usually teach the first class, so there's more energy now. I'm like, okay, let's get it. So we're here. Okay. All right, so let's talk about a few ideas for this leg. I'm going to show you guys 3 things that I do here. You can plug in whichever one feels better for you, right? Sometimes it's situational, okay? But now, as we get into our safe position here and control the knee, all I want you guys to think about is what's gonna happen with that leg. I don't typically wait around to find out how Giles is gonna counter my guard. He's good at jiu-jitsu, okay? So typically what I'm gonna do is, as I step in, as soon as I'm getting to this position, okay, and I'm hugging tight, as soon as this leg is even anywhere, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach down and grab it. And pay attention to this elbow. I'll switch sides in a second, but this elbow is the most important piece. I tuck that elbow in. Elbows go home, okay? Now my elbow and my forearm are supported by my leg, and it's not my arm versus my partner's leg. Move your leg. Too hard. I'm not very strong, okay? Hook. Elbow comes in. Double it down, okay? Now what do I have control of? That was a question. What do I have control of? 2 legs, which means I have control of 2 what? Okay, Giles, bail on me. Okay, does that make sense to you guys? Control the hips, control everything. That's the pass. How I pass from there doesn't really matter. Do whatever you want. You just create an angle, step in, squat, gather, and keep your head up. Don't remind your partner, okay? As soon as you start to settle here, peripheral vision, I'm just looking at that other leg. It could already be coming up, or it could just be getting ready to react. Grab it. Okay? You don't have to compromise your position. Stay here. When his leg moves, connect, look, underhook. Tuck your elbow to the hip. And if you need help, which I usually do because I'm not very strong, just reinforce it somehow. I like hand over hand because I'm keeping the pulling going the opposite direction from where he's strong. Okay? Once you get here, just have your partner move just slightly. And partner on top, figure out how you're gonna pass and just do it. Okay? There's no jujitsu involved here. Just, you've got both hips, get around, put your weight on your partner. Okay? Good? Yeah. Do it. To control somebody's legs, even for me, I mean, check that out. That's crazy. That's all natural, too. Okay? It can be a lot of work to try to control somebody's legs with your arms, okay? Which is like, again, when I was like coming up in jiu-jitsu, like, you know, in the dark ages, a lot of the way that, especially with the gi, we learned to pass the guard was this idea of like really strong grips and like pushing and pulling and stuff like that, okay? It's quite a lot of work, and it never really works unless you're really good at it. Maybe you do that, you know, that stupid drill with the bad music on YouTube like 100 times, like dragging or whatever. It never works for me, okay? So what I want to do is I always look, especially as an older grappler now, I always look to create structures that are strong, okay? So it's super important as you guys reach for this leg, and you don't need to do it alone over here. Watch, you have a free what? Use it to help you, okay? 2 against 1. 2 arms, 2 hands, however you want to think about it, against 1 leg. This is still pretty hard though. Go ahead, Giles, be Giles. What's not supposed to be? He's going to push and pull and buck and move around, and it's going to be very difficult. Unless I shelf it, okay? This is the cornerstone to my half guard passing. Everything involves my arm being reinforced by my leg, okay? If you do striking, this is checking a kick in Muay Thai, right? Like this, like blocking this spit, okay? So we want to pull and watch the elbow. Again, pay attention over here, so important. Elbows home. Okay, and I'm pinching actively with my adductors. This is the other thing we didn't discuss. I'm pinching a little bit here, okay? So that pressure should be fairly difficult. And of course, if I stay here long enough and but guess what I'm not doing? I'm not staying there. I'm going right around his legs, outside, inside, through the middle, however you pass, doesn't matter, okay? Laura had a great leg drag class, great headquarters stuff yesterday. Add whatever you like in there. It doesn't really matter. You have both sides. You can do whatever you want. The world is your oyster, okay? So I just want you guys to go back. That's the idea. This is when we're passing guard. Everything that we're trying to solve for is beat the feet, beat the knees, beat or get to the hips, and then eventually it's a chest to chest or chest to back pin like Christian was talking about yesterday. Okay, this idea of flattening the person versus not being flat, okay? Well, guess what? If I have control of your hips, it's a lot easier to make you go where I want you to go, okay? So we have a few other ways that we can do the same thing, okay? So I'm gonna basically show you guys 3, and then we'll talk about some options there, and we're gonna play a little bit with this more, okay? But this is another thing that I like to do a lot. It seems maybe like it's not easy to do, but you'll be surprised, okay? Because the detail here that really makes this work, okay? So first of all, I'll just show you guys what I'm gonna do, okay? So this leg starts to come off, and now instead of going underneath it and just grabbing it, I'm just gonna go from outside of it and push it across. Okay, so I'm here. I can do this with 2 hands or 1, doesn't really matter. He puts the foot up, and I push it across, okay? So you see how by essentially crossing the legs here, creating essentially what would be a leg drag from Laura's class, I've created a situation where I have such good control over both of his legs now that the hips are even more bound up than they were when I was just underneath it, okay? Can you move your hips a little bit? It's quite hard, okay? And again, we're not staying here just to chill and now start looking at, good job. That was nice to see you guys, okay? No, I'm just gonna let that leg go or do whatever I'm gonna do next, okay? So, the detail is just turn, please, okay? Here is how I'm pushing, okay? I'm pushing from a strong angle. For me, as the dude on top here, the strong angle comes from the outside across, okay? If I try to push any other way or drag any other way, jiu-jitsu sucks, okay? But if I push from the outside, jiu-jitsu is very easy, okay? Make sense? All right, so you guys are gonna play the same game. Move around a little bit, it's still cooperative right now. Step in, don't look, okay, down, keep your head up, all right? Again, I'm always using peripheral vision. Maybe I start reaching for this, he starts moving his legs or whatever, that's a perfect opportunity to just switch the grip. I like the C grip, but you can do whatever you want, and shelf it over the other one, okay? Now once we get to here, your partner's gonna feel their hips pretty bound up. And what I like to do, you can pass, if you have a different way you like to pass, you can totally do it, okay? What I like to do is just lift my butt off the mat a little bit, and like American football, hike the ball between my legs, hike the knee between my legs. See how his leg disappears? And now I can go right down with my knee to the mat, and I can windshield wiper over that leg, okay? Now I've essentially got what Laura was talking about in her class, right, where I'm starting to control both hips, okay? In my kids' class, we call this making a sandwich, or, you know, because I usually ask the kids, like, hey, what kind of sandwich do you want to make today? No pressure, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Salami.
Okay, all right. So we got the bread, we got the salami, right? Let's put something else in the sandwich. What do you want to add?
Cheese.
Hungry? Okay. Cheese. And then we need to have something on top of it. What are we going to close that? You can't have an open-faced sandwich unless you're in Denmark. What are we going to have? Bread on top. Okay, so you guys see everything's a sandwich, everything's layers, everything's sandwiched together now, right? And now I'm in an excellent position to introduce pressure with my chest, my head, walk around, do whatever I want to do, okay? That all happens because I have both hips. I've created a leg drag without having to do anything. I've literally just bound his legs together and just lifted my butt a little bit, and that leg will disappear, okay? So one more time, and you guys will go. So again, same idea. Everything starts with that same conceptual idea here, control. Okay, now we're just gonna go from the outside and push it across. You can go on top of it if you want, or you can just stay here, it doesn't really matter, okay? Just lift a little bit, hike that football out of your way, and drive down to your knees, okay? For me, you could stay here. I like to, as that leg drops, I like to windshield wiper to the other side. I just feel like it's better control. But if you have something else you like to do here, and you wanna keep your leg there, do what you like, okay? I almost said this is American man, do what you like, but it's not. Okay, it's just, okay? If that's not the pass you like, or you want to try something else, just throw it in there. It doesn't matter. Okay? Again, put your ingredients in the soup, just the broth right now. Okay? Do it. Switch it. So what I like to do is this. All right? I get to that same spot. All right? And now, as I start to bring this leg over, all right, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the Dutchie here from one side to the other. Okay? So I'm going to swim inside like that. All right? So you guys see what I'm doing here is I'm in my spot. I'm literally just kind of like diving my body, bringing that arm, those fingers, directly out on a plane like this, boom, okay? So his leg is here. I can even just pull the leg in a little bit and then bring it a little closer and just dive underneath it, straighten my arm. And then look how we're doing the same thing on the opposite side. Can you guys see my elbow? Pay attention to my elbow. That's really the important piece. Shelf it, okay? Because now there's no strength involved at all. Literally, I just sit there all day. I have a very strong structure. I'm connected from my toes up through my shoulder, and it's very difficult for Giles to move. For me, I always double up until I'm ready to pass, so I like hand over hand here, but feel how it feels, okay? Yeah, it's very difficult, right, for you to move, okay? So I want you guys to do the same thing now, and then just try to introduce movement. If you want to get rid of this bottom leg, super easy to do it, right? If you want to just simply start to kick your leg back, and go around, you can do that too. There's nothing preventing you from moving backwards. There's no hooks, there's no entanglements, okay? And you guys will feel that, all right? So let's go one more time, turn. So basically the same thing you guys just did. We're always moving a little bit. I never walk straight in, okay? Always an angle, make him follow me. Get to my spot, and just get to that second leg as fast as possible. The deeper I enter here, the easier it will be to connect everything, okay? Hug it tight, keep your head up, and figure out how you want to pass. Good? Easy, right? Shit's easy. Go. I just started thinking about it. And then I thought about, well, I'm getting pushed backwards because we're parallel. What if I just move my body a little bit? And then no one was sweeping, okay? So like everything else, we just have to feel it a little bit, practice a little bit. But the reality of the answer to the question is almost always just change the angle a little bit. Okay, now the sweep doesn't work, the elevation is much harder, okay? Hooks get weaker when we change angles. This is why you watch like guys that have really good like float passing, camping, all this stuff. People are using these terms, people are using now like Joseph Chen. These guys, what are they doing? They're just putting weight on you and they're changing their angles and pummeling their legs, okay? This is essentially, I mean, I'm not saying this is nearly as good as that stuff, but really that's all I'm doing is just changing the angle slightly, and that hook to elevate or that hook to push don't really work anymore because that connection now, right, is no longer as good as it was, okay? So this is the idea. If we just slightly change these angles, then things get much easier exponentially, okay? I'm talking a lot. You guys understanding me so far though, conceptually good, easy, right? Just forward, backwards, okay? Give your partner's leg a hug, any way you want, you're pretty much gonna pass, okay? All right, so with that being said, I'm just gonna show you guys like a couple ideas here. We're not even really gonna practice this because not everyone does leg locks, not everyone's a big no-gi guy. Okay, I'm just gonna show you guys how we can use some of these same setups to actually enter into some leg attacks. And then if that stuff's interesting to you, I'm happy to like drill it with you more after or roll a little bit and you can do it to me, okay? But this is typically one of the best ways for me that I set up kind of like a position where I can control both your legs. It's not really a saddle position. I don't know, maybe Giles knows the name of it. I don't know, maybe it has a name. It's like this idea where you're basically just crossing the legs over. But basically what I do a lot of the time is I get to here, I win control of this leg, okay? Now, once I'm swimming across here, what I like to do is simply just take my knee, just turn a tiny bit. I don't know if that'll be easier for people to see, okay? I just take my outside knee, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kick my leg back, and I'm just gonna basically take that leg and bring it underneath my partner's knee, okay? Again, I'll just show you what it looks like. If you like this kind of stuff, I'll tease up a couple ideas here, and then you guys can grab it. Okay, so we get to the same spot. Again, everything's tight, my head is up, and now all I'm gonna do is just exit my leg and walk back in, okay? I'm still connected. The only difference is now I'm behind that knee, and now I can just lean the weight, okay? I like to go toward the side that I'm outside of. I just feel like it's much easier because my weight's already going that direction. And I'm just gonna step that foot into that space and fall, okay? Now I wanna be mindful of where my leg lands. Obviously, Giles is good at leg locks. That could be bad for Brad, okay? So I just keep that leg low, and I rest all my weight over the top of that foot, okay? So this leg is essentially out of commission for Giles now. All his weight is pinned on it, and it gives me really nice access to that top leg, okay? Does this have a name? Probably does, right?
There'll be some form of shit.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know shit, okay? I just know that it's annoying for the other guy, and I have really nice hill entry here, okay? So that's just one example of how we can kind of use that same position to create these things, okay? The other thing maybe, which is a little fancier that I do sometimes here, is I literally just let this leg go and I step around here. And can you guys kind of see how we're in like a very nice knee bar position here too? We can sit back, we can monitor that secondary leg. I usually just kind of keep it against my body, and now I'm in a really nice knee bar setup. That's very hard to defend because I switch quick when I move, okay? Again, maybe a little off topic, but just to show you guys that we can use this for more than just the pass, or if someone kind of figures out how to decode some of this stuff and they're stopping me, I can always just fall back if I need to, okay?